The do phase is essentially where everything that we planned during the previous phase is implemented and becomes part of our everyday operations. The remaining subclauses within Clause 8.1 identify two operational areas in which particular consideration to psychosocial risks should be given. These are Clauses 8.1.3, Management of Change, and 8.1.4, Procurement, Contracting and Outsourcing. Clause 8.1.3, Management of Change, identifies that organisational changes can create or interact with psychosocial risks. Because of this, you should develop and implement processes to communicate and manage changes that have the potential to affect health, safety, and well-being at work. Examples of the types of changes that could create psychosocial risk include changes to the company's objectives, activities, and ways of working, such as leadership, working conditions, and terms of employment, and organisational restructuring, changes to legal and other requirements, changes in what is known about psychosocial hazards and risks, changing knowledge and technology with implications for competence assurance, and whether or not workers are involved at an early stage of the change process. You probably already have processes in place to manage most of these types of changes, so a sensible approach to this requirement would be to review and update your existing processes to ensure that they consult with the workforce early in the change process. Consider whether change is likely to create or impact psychosocial risk and taking appropriate action to mitigate these where necessary. Clause 8.1.4, Procurement, identifies that procurement, contracting and outsourcing activities can also create or interact with psychosocial risks. You should review and update your processes for procurement, contracting and outsourcing to ensure that psychosocial risks arising from these activities are identified and appropriately controlled. The standard identifies 4 key elements that should be considered. The first element to consider is how procurement of products and services create psychosocial risks, such as delivery schedules for products or services, and how that might impact on the workloads and schedules of your workforce. The second element to consider is the potential influence that contractors might have on the culture of the workplace and on the roles and expectations of your workforce. The third element is how outsourcing activities might affect your workforce, considering things like their schedules, workloads, the tasks assigned to them, the level of supervision required, and possible consequences associated with the quality of the outsourced work. The final element is to consider how the shared duty of care to protect the health of workers is managed across the various duty holders.